Hey, everybody, I'm Doodle. My friends call me Dude. Drawing awesome stuff is what I do best. Today's lesson is on perspective. In this show, we'll study the rules of perspective, learn about 1, 2, and 3-point perspective, draw a street scene, and learn the terms vanishing point and parallel.
Also, we'll go to the museum and study the work of M.C. Escher.
So come on, let's get creative! Tools of the trade.
When creating perspective effects in your work, you must have a ruler for measuring, a T-square to make horizontal lines, a plastic 45 or 90-degree angle to make vertical lines, a good drawing surface like an art table, and of course, hard-leaded pencils, smooth drawing paper, some tape, and an eraser.
He has a drawing table. These are the angles he will use for vertical lines. A protractor to find the correct angle, and a T-square for horizontal lines. Notice that the artist first draws the horizon line using the T-square that he sets against the table edge. He's using an angle to find 2 vanishing points. The angle and the T-square help to create vertical or up and down lines. Watch what he does next. Now it's time to clean up the drawing by using a kneaded eraser. Wow! It would be hard to draw that without the tools. Rules of perspective. Perspective is a term that describes how objects appear from a particular view. A person sees from a particular position, say, standing up or sitting in a chair or even lying on the ground. That's called the station point or point of view. If you try to draw your surroundings from different sight positions, understanding perspective gives you a way to accurately reproduce the scene. Take this car, for example. The basic simplified shape is a long cube. To keep the car from looking flat in your drawing, you use a horizon line. That's where the sky meets the ground. And if you're looking directly from the front of the car, add a single vanishing point right here. A vanishing point! That's the point you use to make your object look like it's going back into the distance. It's always somewhere on the horizon line.
I'm a little confused. How do you know which lines go to the vanishing point?
Well, you have to find out which lines are parallel. That means if you extend them forever, they would never touch. This is the golden rule of perspective.
All parallel lines go to the same vanishing point.
this is an example of one-point perspective because you
Because you only have
one...
one vanishing point in the scene?
I think you're right, Stretch. But how many different scenes can you create using just 1 point?
Hey everybody, let's play a game. We're gonna look at some pictures of buildings. See if you can find where the parallel lines meet. That's the vanishing point.
There's one over there.
Ooh, there it is.
Oh, there's the vanishing point right there.
Oh, I think I see it. It's right over there.
There's another vanishing point right there.
I had no idea you could do so much with just one vanishing point and a horizon line.
That's just the beginning. What do you do if some of the objects in the scene are turned at an angle, like this? When you're looking at an object from an angle, you need more than one vanishing point to draw it correctly.
I see. You have to have another point because you can see 2 sets of parallel lines going into the distance.
Let's look for all the parallel lines and make sure they're going to the right vanishing points. Now notice that the top and bottom of the building on one side are parallel and go to this vanishing point.
And the parallel lines on the other side of the building go to the other one.
Let's draw a simple street scene by using 2-point perspective. Always start by locating your eye level or horizon line to find your 2 vanishing points.
Dude, this is starting to kind of get hard.
It's not that hard. Once you find your vanishing points, just follow the basic rules.
I know. All parallel lines go to the same vanishing points.
Right! So let's start laying out the streets, sidewalks, and buildings.
Notice that the lines are neat and clean. That's very important when working in perspective because messy lines ruin the illusion of depth.
Now I can start adding the edges of the buildings, cross streets, and maybe even sketch in a few cars.
That looks great. How about some windows and bricks?
Cool! Here's the best way to make sure the windows are equally spaced. Locate the edge of a building, take your ruler and measure the length of each window and the distance between them. On this one, I'll make it a brick building with very few windows. Now, draw very light lines from all the parallel lines to the correct vanishing points.
Wow, that must take a long time.
Well, if you want to add a lot more detail, be ready to spend many hours drawing small textures and shadows. But for now, we'll just draw the basic scene.
I am so impressed. I would love to paint that scene.
Tell you what, you paint that scene while we explore 3-point perspective.
Oh, great. I started to understand 2-point, and Mr. Perspective over here wants to add another point.
Stretch, calm down. Just think of 3-point perspective like you're looking down from a helicopter.
Doodle, be careful.
Thanks, Dabney. Doodle Skywatcher here with the latest from downtown. Here in the heart of the city, we can see exactly how the rules of perspective apply to every building and every street.
Look how high he is. The streets look so small.
That's it. The 3rd point makes the buildings look small at the bottom.
Exactly! The parallel lines go to the same vanishing points, including the vertical lines as well. Not only does 3-point perspective help you create the illusion of extreme height, but also of extreme depth. You can place the 3rd point in the sky to give the buildings a sense of reaching upwards towards space.
I can see a purpose for each 1, 2, and 3-point perspective.
I know of a famous artist who not only mastered the rules of perspective, but purposely broke them as well.
He broke the rules?
Sure he did. Let's go to the museum and see the awesome work of M.C. Escher.
M.C. Escher was born in Holland in 1898. The Dutch artist was a draftsman, book illustrator, tapestry designer, and muralist, but his primary work was as a printmaker. Escher often created drawings with strange visual effects by combining various and often conflicting vanishing points. For example, looking up and down at the same time. He made these efforts more dramatic by using a lot of contrast between black and white. Starting in the 1920s, the idea of metamorphosis, one shape or objects turning into something completely different, became one of Escher's favorite themes. He also drew complex architectural mazes and perspective games with the representation of impossible spaces.
It's time for Learn the Lingo!
The words are vanishing point and parallel. Vanishing point, a point on the horizon line in which all parallel lines converge. Parallel, a term describing two lines that, if extended forever, would never touch.
That's it for the lingo. Back to you, Doodle.
We are proud to present the Doodle Kids Gallery.
Hey, look at this awesome bedroom scene sent in from Lauren Colley. She's 8.5 from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wow, what a room! Great job, Lauren! And also, check out this artwork from Skip Johnson. He's 10 from Houston, Texas. That's really great! Way to go, Skip!
What an interesting show!
First, we studied the rules of perspective, 1, 2, and 3-point perspective, and drew a street scene.
Now, don't forget, practice, practice, practice. See you next time, kids. Goodbye.
Hey kids, be sure to check us out at our new website, www.doodlestudio.com. Come watch what I can do, because then I'm gonna teach you too.
Doodle!
When working in perspective, you gotta keep it neat so things will look perfect when you're looking down the street. And if you love to paint, then Dabney is your girl.
Squirt them red, blue, and yellow, then give them all a swirl.
Hey, Doodle! Hey, Doodle!
The museum's such a blast, see the artist of the past.
Hey, Doodle! Hey, Doodle! Teach us how to draw today!
If you like drawing people, then you could make some money by painting them realistically or drawing really funny. But if you mess up and feel you must erase